Hi, this is Simon Hague from Where's My Lunch? So today I'm going to be talking a bit about change and how we can implement change within our lives. And to do this, I'm going to reflect on a life experience which has recently happened to me. Back in September last year, I had a problem with my back. And this problem with my back was something which I needed eventually to go to an osteopath to have sorted out. To be honest, it's not quite sorted yet, but it's a lot better than what it was. Now, going to the osteopath, you're lying on a table and having a good old prod around with your back, playing around with your vertebrae and looking at the muscles which exist there and trying to just basically massage the muscles back into a position whereby they can manipulate my back. One of the things that came up in conversation as I was lying there face down was that maybe I should think about something called yoga or Pilates. Now for me, yoga or Pilates was something which really hadn't interested me in the past. It's about lying sedentary on a mat, thinking a lot about various different things and trying various different postures. But for me, it was something that also filled me with fear. Here I was, a 50-something guy, carrying maybe a bit too much around his midriff, putting himself into a position whereby he's going to have to be flexible and show how unflexible he is when he goes into that particular room. Now, after about 3 weeks of doing some yoga, after 3 weeks of pontificating and talking to the osteopath, eventually I've decided that this was a really good thing to do. It wasn't a case of thinking about the benefits. I've got to be honest, it was the bill shock when I got the bill in from the osteopath and I had to start thinking about, okay, so how long can I continue to do this? The osteopath was fantastic, but the suggestion of doing yoga filled me with fear, and I had to stop that fear and think about something a bit different. Now, how did I do that? I looked around at the various different options that were open to me for yoga and Pilates, and I found something called hot yoga. And hot yoga is basically yoga in a room which is at 37 degrees centigrade. 37 degrees, now that is quite hot, and that actually intrigued me. 37 degrees to me was, that could be quite good fun. It'd be like lying on a beach. Not that I do much of that because I'm quite active, but it's like relaxing in a really, really hot room, in a really hot space. And for me, that was interesting. So I had conflicting thoughts going through my mind. I had the yoga stuff, which was about, for me, lying on a mat with lots of people around me, looking at me and being really self-conscious about my ability of doing yoga and stretching. And I also had this thing about, actually, 37-degree room is really, really going to be good fun. So I plucked up courage and I started the hot yoga. Initially, I was sold by a marketing concept, and this concept was, what you need to do is you sign up for 10 days and you get unlimited sessions. You've got to be realistic, guys. If you're looking at this, unlimited sessions really means probably about 4 a week if you're just starting up, 3 a week maybe, because if you do much more than that, it really hurts. But I signed up to that, and actually over that 10-day period, I was hooked on what yoga could do for me. So what I'd actually done is I'd changed my belief. I'd unfrozen what I was thinking about. I'd unfrozen my belief that yoga was going to be a painful experience and I was going to embarrass myself. I changed my belief in that actually I found something called hot yoga, which was a bit more interesting than just lying on a mat. And forgive me for those people who do normal yoga, I am now a convert to that as well. But I changed my belief in that, and that actually put me into a completely different position of being able to take something forward. So there I was doing my hot yoga, and my back was steadily getting stronger and it was getting better. And the physio was noticing a difference. The osteopath was noticing a difference as I was stretching, as I was moving. So it was doing some really real good for me. I was still going to the osteopath, but the sessions were extending, so it wasn't every week, it was to 2 weeks and then to 4 weeks. So that was really, really great for me. So it was satisfying my agenda in both areas. Now, there I was trying out yoga. I was 10 days in, and what did I do? Well, I decided that, I'm doing yoga 3 or 4 times a week. I'd identified that the end of the day works better for me because I've managed to polish off some of my work day. And I'd also identified that if I just went from session to session, it was going to get very costly. So there's a trigger again there for me. But it also was probably going to be an obstacle for me, in that if I was paying from session to session, then there'd be an excuse for me not to go. So I identified for myself that my driver was that actually hot yoga was good fun, but I needed to make sure that I continued to make it easy for myself to do it. So what we've got is I managed to unfreeze my belief, I managed to change my belief, and I then signed up for a monthly unlimited subscription. Obviously a lot more than the initial 10-day cost, but I tell you what, it's something which I've kept going since, and here we are pushing into the middle of the year and I'm noticing some real benefits into my back. So what I've actually done now is I have got into my routine 3 to 4 times a week, round about 5 o'clock, I am out into my hot yoga with my hot yoga stuff on, in the dark, in a room at 37 degrees, stretching my back, stretching my legs, stretching my arms, stretching my neck, stretching everywhere you can possibly imagine, doing something which I hadn't even imagined or I hadn't even thought of back in November, October, when I was first having problems with my back. Now, is my back feeling better? It absolutely is. But I've got an added benefit of what hot yoga has given me. It has given me the ability to actually think clearer. Because yoga is not only about the body, it's about the mind as well, and the relaxation of the mind. Something which I'd practiced through meditation, but something which I hadn't really experienced through the yoga practice before. So, what I've actually done is I've taken myself into a position whereby I have experienced something which is a lot better for me, but the only way that I can do that is by breaking the mold, by breaking something and stopping my belief in something which potentially was going to hurt. So, in summary, what we've got is a model whereby we've got to unfreeze what we're thinking about, and there could be various different ways of doing that. Unfreeze is just having the braveness to take some bite-sized chunks, bite-sized changes to what you're thinking about. The next thing you need to do is experiment around what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve, and find out that absolutely beautiful sweet spot of how something could work for you, ideally. And the third point then is about embedding. It's about embedding that change in you. It's about embedding that bite-sized change to make sure that actually it's purely effective for you, and actually that you're doing it for your reasons and for your motivations. So that's it for today. Think about unfreeze, change, freeze, and if you want to look at further on that, have a look on our website www.where'smylunch.co.uk, or alternatively the model is actually by a guy called Kurt Lewin. You could always look on our favourite search engine and find out a bit more about the model from him. But that is a great way of maybe starting looking at bite-sized changes.